Today, by popular demand, we are diving into property taxes in Panama and more. Joining me to shed light on this important topic is Gloristel Espino, Senior Counsel at Panama Property Attorneys. Stay with us. Gloristel, are there any specific requirements for foreigners to buy a property in Panama?
Whenever you want to buy a property in Panama, we need an ID of the person that wants to own this property. So that will be one of the requirements, the current passport and a second ID of the person who wants to purchase. Another requirement will be the statements, the financial statements for the previous 2 years of this person. And another thing that we can mention is a utility bill that matches the current address of the person who wants to buy, just to mention a few.
Which benefits apply for those people who own more than one property in Panama?
When you own more than one property in Panama, there are several benefits. Like you can invest this in real estate property and you can get some incomes monthly because you rent the apartments and the units. Or if you use it for commercial purposes, then you can get another profit. Also, in terms of immigration, when you own a lot of properties, you can apply for certain residency programs that are great for people who invest in various types of residency in Panama. Another benefit that we can mention, Anna, is the fact that you can get exemptions and incentives by the many laws we have in Panama for people who are investing in real estate, which is great.
I understand there were previously tax exoneration incentive. Any of these still apply?
Yes, of course. And this is very important that you mentioned, Anna, because you need to have a proper real estate broker that will assist you to understand if your property applies for an exoneration or to find something that fits your needs.
Yes.
So if you want to apply to any incentive in Panama, it's good that this person guides you through the whole process and understanding
Exactly.
if you have certain amount of exonerations that includes the property that you're buying. So yes, we still have some. We have more than 40 laws in Panama with incentives and exonerations, but it really depends on the property you're looking for. So that's the part when you guys come in and assist.
That is the most important part, to have someone who really knows about all of this.
Exactly.
Let's talk about how should property taxes be paid in Panama.
So in Panama, when you buy a property, you need to know that there is something we call the land tax, and you have to pay it yearly. And also, if you apply for a primary residency or if you have the tributary family patrimony, you can get another incentive depending on the value of the property. Right now, we have one that includes, so if you buy a property that goes up to 120,000, you will have a property incentive of 0% of tax in that property. So for other properties that are not included in the primary residency and the tributary family patrimony, then you have different rates in terms of taxes. So if the property goes from 0 to 30,000, you don't have to pay any tax. You have 0%. So if it goes above 30,000 up to 250,000, then you have to pay 0.6%. And if it goes above 250,000, you have to pay 0.8%.
Could you elaborate on the concepts of tributary family patrimony and primary residence?
Yes. So basically in Panama, part of the family code we have, there are specific meanings for the tributary family patrimony, which is a place that you have for your family and it's considered your main residency. And the primary residency, it's pretty much the same because you use this property, the real estate property, as your main residency, but you cannot include the tributary family patrimony when you are defining this by law. So they're pretty much real estate properties that are used for the owners and occupational use for the owners. However, one excludes the other. So basically, when you use a tributary family patrimony, you need to know that this is will be considered as part of the family itself, and a primary residency instead will only apply for people. You don't necessarily have to be married so you can apply for this, but it has to be your main residence for both. So if you use one term specifically, you will exclude the other in terms of legal constitution of this property.
Gloristel, if I wish to sell my property in Panama, what is the property transfer tax rate here?
In Panama, Anna, you have to pay 2% of property transfer tax based on the highest value of the property. And also there's another tax that it really depends on how much you're selling the property for. That is a 3% on the gain of the investment of selling this property. Or you can apply a new law that is 10% on the net gain.
For foreigners seeking for retirement residency in Panama, are there any obligations do they need to fulfill?
Yes, of course. Like any other country, if you're living in Panama, there are certain taxes that you have to fulfill with. But if you're a part of a retirement program, then you get another incentives in terms of medical insurance, other benefits like discounts in places and commercial businesses. This is something that usually every single person in Panama have to pay, which is the
7%.
Yes, the 7% tax. And this is something that in other countries they're called the value-added tax. Here in Panama is 7% for any kind of service or goods. However, if you're purchasing tobacco products, you got 15% tax, and if you're buying like alcohol or hotel accommodations, then the tax is 10%.
Who is considered a tax resident in Panama?
In Panama, you're considered a tax resident when you have physically a resident in Panama and you do your business here, and the incomes that are provided are from Panamanian sources. So that's basically when you're considered a resident.
Can you briefly explain the progressive combined tax in Panama?
Okay, perfect. Yes. And in Panama, you have to know that basically on the income you make, you pay certain taxes. It's not like you're not going to pay taxes, but it really depends on how much you make per year. So if you go from 0 to 11,000 yearly, you don't have to pay any tax. If you go from 11,000 to 50,000, you pay 15% above the 11,000. And if you go above 50,000 yearly, you have to pay 25% in income tax.
Panama has been labeled as a tax haven, leading some to believe there are no regulations here. Could you clarify Panama's regulatory framework regarding jurisdiction and taxes?
Well, I know that many people are thinking that in Panama you don't pay any tax, which is not true. Even citizens and residents have to pay taxes, and people who come from abroad and are passing by, if they consume produce in Panama, you do have to pay some taxes. So part of the framework in Panama, we have tried for many years to change that mentality of others believing that we don't pay any taxes. We do have a compliance and due diligence process for every person that wants to seek business in Panama. And of course, we have a tax structure that is based on territorial income, which means if you make your income in Panama, you do have to pay taxes. For some people who are not getting any income from Panamanian source, then you don't have to pay taxes because you are paying taxes abroad on the country that you're coming from. So we don't do a double taxation system, and this is the problem that many people believe we have. But it's really not a problem to us because there are certain income taxes, gain taxes, and capital taxes that we pay in corporations and with properties itself. It varies, but it's really not true that we're a tax haven.
Gloristel, thank you so much for your time and for sharing this valuable information.
Thank you, Anna. And well, for everyone who's looking at this videos. Guys, if you have any other questions regarding the tax system and more information about real estate property, feel free to contact us for free consultation.
And remember to let us know what else would you like to know about Panama.